Who did you interview?
I interviewed my 11th grade English teacher, Mrs. F.
And why did you select her?
I selected her because she has been a positive influence to me and a mentor, and it was an easy pick.
How did you go about contacting her?
That's a great question because when I first got back into schooling, um, I reached out to her and I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this education thing. I'm thinking about teaching history," and we had planned to do an interview last semester a few months ago. So when that happened, when this assignment came about, I was like, "Whoa, this is like a sign. This is perfect." So I reached out to her, and
Was it difficult to arrange a time or place to meet?
she was so easy to work with, and no, it wasn't difficult at all. I shot her a text and I said, "Hey, can you do this interview?" And I think her response is like, "I can do it this afternoon or tomorrow." Like she was super super easy to work with.
How do you think the interview went and why?
This is a good one. I think the interview went great. Looking back at it, I think when I was sitting there, my thoughts were a little different, but I think it went great. I had 14 questions prepared, and so when I told her when I was setting up the meeting, it's going to be about 10 to 15 or 15 to 20 minutes. Have an interview, and I think we sat down and talked for about an hour and a half, and I only got through like six of the questions. So it was really. I think that says it. I think that says that it went well.
What went well and what were some of the difficulties you encountered?
What went well? I think I, I think the whole entire thing went well. I think she's was so informative and personal. Spoke from her um, perspective, and that brought a lot of insight to it. And one of the difficulties was like figuring out, as I was watching the time tick on, like how to fit what question in where, and like I'm realizing, oh, I'm not gonna get to all these questions. Oh, I won't do that one. So that was one of the difficulties, was managing time, or like managing the questions.
How did you adapt to unforeseen twists or interview responses?
Great, that's a great question. Kind of touch on the last answer there. Um, we met on Zoom, so they're timed 40 or 45-minute meetings. So I'm looking up at the clock, and it's like 8 minutes left, and I'm like, question four. So by cutting out some of the questions that I felt that she had already answered, or by skipping over questions that I thought, to get to a more important, or a better question that I thought would be a better question to ask.
Did you discover anything about the career that makes you want to change your career or education plans?
No, I think I'm still on the right choice. I think I got a little bit of a motivation towards the end of the interview. One of my last questions was like, "If you have a message to give to any students, what would it be?" And she said, "I have a message to a former student, you, and the message is go and teach. You're meant for this. You're meant to do it." And I think that was another, like, it was a really sweet, positive feedback from that interview.
So, the last question, and I think you already answered it, but if you can elaborate, did it confirm that you're on the right career path?
Yes, absolutely, and I think it definitely um, made the path a little more narrow. Like I'm a little more nestled into the path, so to speak. Um, Another one question that I asked her was, what what piece of she was an English teacher. I said that. So what piece of reading, literature, or book do you always look forward to teaching every year? And she said something that like kind of blew my mind, but it makes sense. She said, I used to dread teaching Catcher in the Rye. It's kind of just like, oh, it's like every year again, you know? And she said it's her favorite thing to teach now. Like she can't wait to do, walking in Holden's shoes. She said where she goes through the tour that Holden Caulfield went on in The Catcher in the Rye. But it was really enlightening, and I thought because I was thinking maybe there are some subjects where I'm like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to teach that, but the way that she kind of spun it made me be like, yeah, that sounds great. Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.